Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bev Mann, Mediumship from the Heart, and welcome to another edition of the show Exploring Your Awareness, which is exactly as it says on the tin. We're going to be exploring your awareness. And as you know, I've been doing many shows over many weeks, going through psychic into mediumship and various different aspects of your awareness. And today we're going to be talking about mediumship and what makes good evidence. So I don't know if you can share this YouTube link amongst your friends. And oh, we've got a card come up saying, right. So yeah, if you can share the link to anyone you know who may be on their spiritual journey, learning mediumship. I'm hoping to bring new dimensions to your psychic and mediumistic gifts so that you can bring forward more meaningful messages and form a closer connection to your communicator who's in the spirit world. So if you are here joining me live, please do let me know who's here and your name, where you're from, and let's have a little chat because this is what it's all about, and this is going to be an interactive show. Hello, lovely Stace. How are you? Nice to see you here. And Suzanne, Suze, nice to see you here. And to Eileen, lovely dog. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a bit cold today, isn't it? And hi, Lizanne of London, you're sharing as well. So I love the way that you all chat to each other. I think it's great. And that's a great thing about spiritual productions here, or Spiritual Psychics TV, that we become one family. Hi, Julia Roberts. Is that I'm not going to say about are you the actress Julia Roberts, because I'm sure you've probably had lots of people say that to you. I'm sure you're fed up of it. You're from Scotland, so welcome, Julia. And hello to Christine. You're in Caterham in Surrey. Good afternoon to you too. So yeah, the weather suddenly got really cold. We're, automatically here now. We are in winter, and yeah, my dog's actually. I'm thinking about getting her a little coat now because it's really cold. Hi, Crystal Eyes. Thank you so much for sharing the stream here. Because I've got so much that I want to share with you about getting the most out of your mediumship. And the more we share, the more we care and we reach, we help other people. And even if you're not training to be a mediumship, to be a medium, sorry, I would really value your opinions as to what you would expect from a reading to make that an extra special reading. What are those little bits that you want? Hi, Alison. Good afternoon to you. What are the bits of information that you're looking for? Because, sometimes what us mediums think you're looking for may not be what you're looking for. Everyone is different. Some people are looking for codes. Maybe they've given someone a code name to come up with, which is pretty hard for a medium to tune into. Maybe you just want your shared memories. Maybe you want your special songs. So we're going to be going over that later. Thank you, Heather. Hello, Heather. Thank you for sharing and liking the stream. So yeah, everybody's opinion is really important because we're all very different by our very nature as human beings. And what's one man's meat is another man's poison. So, perhaps knowing how your loved one passed is of ultimate importance to you, but not to everyone. Um, can we just have those comments gone a little bit smaller because it's gone back to being big? Yeah, it's gone up to. I'm not seeing the whole thing. It's gone back to full. Julia's got a question. She's asking me, do you need a certificate to practice mediumship? And there's a little bit missing. So I'm just missing a little bit on the right. So basically, no, you don't need. Thanks, perfect. Thank you, Richard. We've got the lovely Richard here, who's assisting. Thank you, Richard. That's perfect. So do you need a certificate? Now, I had this big chat on a live that I did the other day with another medium presenter here on Spiritual Psychics TV, with Sam Pert, and we were talking about that because many times I've gone to do my exams and something's happened. It's almost as if spirit has stood in the way of me doing so, for one reason or another. And it's really up to the individual if you want to study. If you're the studying type and are happy to write really long exams, etc., um, then great. And if you want that certificate, absolutely 100% go for it. For myself, I run a very, very busy life, and I just take the view that I'd rather be out there helping other people through my readings or my teachings rather than sitting constructing, my thesis. And that's because I am quite a pedantic person, and I know that it will take me quite a long time to get through changing it, rewriting it, etc. So, and but what is absolutely vital, Julia, and everyone else, you don't need to attain the certificate, but what I really am a great advocate of is to do the studying. Like I said, you don't need the certificate, but please do the studying. Study spiritualism, study the philosophy of spirit. The more you learn, the more you will grow. And it's really important to take these courses, and not just with one tutor, with many different tutors, because, we all have a different view, and you will grow by learning from different people, because what resonates with one person may not resonate with another person. So you take on board what feels right for you, and the rest you discard. So please do study. Whether you do the certification is up to you. Now, I did a lot of study in my time. I went to the wonderful Arthur Findlay College, and I studied, and I did many, many courses there with some amazing mediums. I also did a lot of mentorships with fantastic and mediums, and they gave me a certificate to say that I'd completed it. A couple of them did. Um, but I do believe that it's the knowledge that we come with to this earth plane. No one can say what's already there. And then by going on courses, or perhaps reading books, watching videos, YouTubes, it kind of like will like ignite that knowledge that you may already have in your soul. So, yes, study what you can. And also, your best teachers, as I always say, are your guides and helpers, your spiritual team. So, all those who help you along your journey. So, that's why it's quite important, Julia, to be sitting in the power, i.e., just sitting in a meditative state, and you will receive information whether you realize that you don't. Lots of people talk about downloads. They got their downloads. This is what they're saying, is that they've sat with spirit, like they may be concerned about what's going on in the world at the moment, and so they'll go into their quiet space and ask spirit, what is the truth? What is my truth? What's your truth? And how we can, or if you've got a problem that's going on around you, sit with the spirit world, and the truth, what you need to do, will come to you. Maybe not immediately, but at some point it will come to you. So I hope that answers your question, Julia. For myself, I never got to do my CSNU. I'm not saying that I will never do it, because when the time is right, perhaps it will happen for me. But I do believe that everything that I need to help and guide others through my work is deep inside my soul. Bless you. My Richard sneezing. Hello, Cherie. How are you? I didn't see the comment before. Cherie, you're in lovely Australia. What's the weather like down under? It must be really late there. Because you're 8 hours behind, or you're 9 with the time difference. I don't know. So that was a really good question, Julia. Thank you for that question. Personal choice. Annabelle, hello from sunny beautiful, sunny little Hampton. Healing to everyone and support and love in this lockdown. Absolutely, Annabelle. That's so vitally important to put that light back into the world because there's so much fear and anxiety that's around. Julia, you're more than welcome. So thank you for that. I'm really happy to answer anyone's questions. You know, you've got me all to yourselves for the next hour and a half. So do fire away because I want to help you. Cherie's saying yes, it's midnight in Australia. So thank you for still being up and tuning in, Cherie. It's lovely to see you here. So yeah, there's a lot of anxiety and fear out there, and you know, there's a lot in the news. So if we can, obviously, we need to follow the news, but if we can try and keep our minds positive, we are putting out that positivity into the world, and that love and positivity is so needed for Mother Earth right now. Pamela is asking a question. Sorry, can we go back to that? Or you're picking Cherie's picking a daughter up from work. Right, here you go. Pamela, does reading tarot cards help you with your mediumship? Everything will help you with your mediumship. Absolutely. You know, some people say, oh no, they're two different things. I don't agree with that. I do the psychic tarot cards as many mediums I know on psychic spiritual productions just happen to use, sorry, spiritual psychics use. That's just by pure coincidence because they're a great deck. But any cards or anything that helps you with your intuition, with your psychic ability, is worth doing. Like I was saying before, the more you study, the more you practice, everything will help you with your intuition. So when you're using the tarot cards, you are not only tuning into the cards, but you're tuning into the energy of your sitter, the person in front of you, or if it's remotely, into their energy. And you're using the cards to work with the power of your psyche. Because as you know, Pamela, every card will have a different meaning for different people. So in one card you might notice one thing, in another card you'll see something else for somebody else. Something I know sometimes I pick a card and I've never noticed something. I might notice a little bird or a little butterfly, and I've never noticed that before. So it will help you with your mediumship, and you can actually, interestingly, Pamela, you can train yourself to do anything. And ask the spirit world to show you symbolically what they mean. So sometimes I am doing a reading and I'll see a card in my mind. Like I'll see the card, for example, like Richard just put up there by mistake for me, which was New Beginnings. So I might be reading for someone on a mediumistic level and I'll see the card New Beginnings, or I'll see the card Transformation. So that will give me clues. One of the ones I often get is the Knight on the Horse going forward very quickly. I don't know what that is in the tarot. Perhaps you might want to tell me. I can't remember it offhand. But that's about things moving forward quickly. So it'll be probably Knight of Wands or something like that. Page of Wands or whatever. But so we can, like we train our minds, we can actually train the spirit world, our guides, to work with us. We can say, could you give me symbology for this particular meaning? And if you watch some mediums, they will have their own symbols for different things, like for passing quickly or suicide. And it's up to you to create a symbology. And if you want to use the tarot cards, then do it. Do it, because it's like using like a key, like your own individual key. And I've always said you can't teach symbolism because it has to be your own. But someone might tell you, I'm doing this, like I've just said, passing quickly. Sometimes I might see a train go by. You can train the spirit world perhaps to work with you in that way. Like if someone passed quickly, can you show me, would this work? See if it works for you. So I hope that helps you, Pamela, and some others. Creating symbology, whether it be through tarot, cards, will help you with your mediumship. And I don't know if anyone remembers a few months back when we had all that beautiful weather, I did some card readings with flowers. I did flower card readings. And that was really lovely because I used the symbology of the flowers. People, what happened was I invited people to choose a flower, and then I would use that flower to go into their personality and what was on around them. And if I was doing mediumship, I could have then, what does the flower mean with the person, like if they'd chosen a rose. So yeah, thank you, Lizanne. Knight of Wands, I was right. Free spirited person, passion, Bev. Thank you so much for that, Lizanne. Um, so, hi, Libra, how are you? So, yeah, so you can do a reading from flowers by you or coloured ribbons. I did a show right at the very beginning here at Spiritual Psychics TV. Hello, lovely Sarah Miller. How are you? One of my students in the States. Um, so yeah, Pamela, you're going to take that on board. That's great. Thank you. Um, I did the ribbons and showed you about color symbology and what it means. So you can use those colors in your readings as well. So if you're struggling to get a mediumistic link and you look at a person and you're trying to work on them psychically, what color would you see around that person? Like looking into their auric field, what color would you see orange around them, or would you see red around them? And what do those colors mean in your symbolism? Not necessarily what's written in the book, because again, it's your own interpretation. Liz, yeah, I thought it's you, lovely Liz Brewer. Thank you for using that. Um, Sarah, I miss you too. Come back to class. Haven't seen you for a few weeks. We'd love to have you here, and I'm so glad that you're tuning in. I was going to put in our group in my mentoring and my student groups, my circles, please come in here and watch the shows because, you know, all these shows are free, they're interactive, and it will help you with your development. Hi, Annabelle. How can I tell someone about predictions in a manner they don't think you are crazy or weird, especially to big institutions? Big institutions. So, um, predictions is a very touchy subject, especially in the way that I have been trained. I trained with the Spiritual National Union, and we need to be very mindful of predictions and remember our personal responsibility. I always say to Spirit before I start with a reading, um, I work in the light, I stay in the light, and I only want to give messages of upliftment. So, and that I won't do any harm to someone. So, predictions in that manner is vitally important because it should be a healing experience. They don't think you're crazy or weird. So if you're quite new to this, it sounds like perhaps you're quite new to this, you're getting information from the spirit world or the higher source, um, and people might think you're weird and crazy. Perhaps maybe you can explain that you have this gift. But you know what, Annabelle? What I would say to you is always check that you have the permission of the person or the institution that you're speaking to, that they're happy for you to give that prediction because perhaps someone doesn't want to know it. You know, there are people that go around saying, I predict this is going to happen, or I predict that's going to happen. I'm not saying you, Annabelle, but there are some, you know, unscrupulous, I'm going to say, people out there, mediums who are working out there and tell you, I can tell you your future, I can do this, I can do that. I would run a mile from someone like that personally. And usually it involves an exchange of money. So let people know that you're coming from a good place and explain to them what you do, how you do it, why you do it, that you're doing it from the heart, and most importantly, check that they are happy for you to predict. Because if they're not welcoming it or they're not expecting it, and you say something that may not, you don't know, it might not be welcome. I remember many years ago, I was tuning into a radio show that I'd been invited to speak on, and I thought I'd just tune in and see what it was like. And there was a lady on there who referred to herself as some kind of angel whisperer, and yet she went on and proceeded to tell this lady on live air show that her husband was cheating on her and she needed to get rid of him. Well, and that her life was going to change. Perhaps that lady who was phoning in wasn't expecting that kind of prediction from some kind of angel healer medium. And I often wonder what damage that had done to that lady when they pulled the plug out from the radio show and the presenters were very awkward about it and they went on with their ordinary lives, and that lady had to live on with this life wondering whether her partner was cheating on her. It was just awful. So these are the reasons why personal responsibility is so important. Get someone's permission, check that they're happy, that you're going to, whatever you're going to tell them, they're happy with, and then it's their responsibility for accepting that challenge. So I hope that helps you, Annabelle. And I say that to everyone. Check, check, and check again that people are happy with you to predict. Hello, Claire. Loving your guidance. Thank you so much. This is what I love to do. I love to help people, love to troubleshoot. I have got a class sorted out, but I'm happy to answer questions. Hi, Daniela. I love that colour hair. It looks amazing. Is that sort of some kind of colour wash over the photograph? But it looks amazing. Because I thought I was only brave enough to do colours like that. Hi, Sarah Batten. How are you? Nice to see you here. So do keep your questions going because I'm here to answer your questions, and no question is silly. I know sometimes I used to be scared to put my hand up when I used to go to Weight Watchers, believe it or not, big mouth here. I used to be really shy and I wouldn't put my hand out, and I'd wait to try and get the weight counsellor to talk to me later on the QT, on the quiet, because I didn't like to ask a question. But this is for your growth. Hello, Cherie. Hi, Bev. How can I get clarity that my family are together and I know they are around? I have no one left here that is really family. I have been so lost and confused, and just move forward. Okay, Cherie, I'm so sad to read that for you, and about you. It's so hard when we lose our nearest and dearest, with that unconditional love, and I know how that kind of feels because I've lost both my parents. So can I just have that comment? Thank you. And then you said, my family are together. Can I get around my family are together? No, they're no longer around. I assume that you're meaning that they are in the spirit world, but perhaps you can give me clarity on that, or whether you're just talking about they're in another country or another place. But sometimes, in order to feel our loved ones in the spirit world, we all live such busy lives. Well, I know I do. I'm always on the go. I'm always running. And I just feel for you, Cherie, the first thing I got with you when you came on and I started to read that was like, stop and feel them. Go into that quiet space and just feel that love. I did a live spiritual service which was based on philosophy last week for one of the light of spirit. I think it was Weymouth Church, And, and I said, just stop and give yourself that hug, that all embracing, unconditional love hug, because we don't often take that time for ourselves. And what I feel for you, Cherie, is that just come off the hamster's wheel and just take that time to go deep inside and know that the spirit world are around you. Not just your loved ones in spirit, but all your guides, your helpers, the angelic realm. They are all there and they're waiting for you to make that connection with them. Um, and just to go into that quiet space and feel it. So, and know that when they go to the spirit world, they will find each other. You just can't move forward. Cherie, you know what? I feel that you should have the support of a group. Um, your family have most passed and don't know many of my family I know personally. So, you're a lovely light worker, Cherie. Why don't you get yourself into a nice development group? I don't know if you're working as a medium or you're just sort of starting out. I got the impression that maybe you're just sort of starting out, dabbling with it. I have um, a development group, but there are many, many development groups. And when you find like likewise souls, it's the most wonderful feeling, when you mix with people who are on the same wavelength as you. And my group, not only have they got a little Facebook group I created, they've actually got like a chat group that they chat to each other all day long. I know Sarah is on the group, Sarah Miller, who's in the States. So she's talking to people in London and in the UK. There's people in Holland. And that's what you need. You need a family, a spiritual family, maybe that you can connect with, or maybe you can find a circle. I don't know where you are in Australia or how you're getting on with lockdown there. I know it's been quite tight in certain places in Australia, depending where you are. But if you can find a supportive group, you're very welcome to come into my group, Cherie. I've got an advanced group and I've got a beginners group. Um, and they're so supportive. And, just find a spiritual community like you have here on Spiritual Psychics TV. Okay. And people genuinely care and love you. But like I said, if you go into that quiet space and you sit with the spirit world, feel them and ask them to show you signs that they're around. It may not happen immediately, but you might find something on the floor, something you've been looking for, besides obviously a feather, but something you've been looking for. You may be drawn to a certain passage in a book. You may get into a car and hear a certain song on the radio. We all ask for these signs, want these signs and wonders, but we need to be able to ask the spirit world for these signs. So, Cherie, ask them because I know that they're around you. You'd like that, please? Well, contact me through my page and we can find out what level you're at. And they are a fabulous group of people. And anyone else here, get yourself some support, get yourself into development circle. Even if you're not feeling that mediumistic, but you don't know what it is, it's the support of other people, and especially going through lockdown throughout the world, wherever you are, there's some sort of restrictions. We need that support. And even if you have got your family around you and your friends around you, the other end of a phone call, sometimes they don't understand your spiritual journey. I mean, how many of you out there, you love your family, but they're not maybe as spiritually awakened as you. We're all on a different journey, and that's fine. But it's nice to connect with people who get you. So that's my advice to everyone. So thank you for that question, Cherie, because that's really important because right now so many people are feeling very isolated and lonely. Hello, Kim. How are you? Lovely to see you here. Um, Okay, so some great questions coming in. Julie, hi Julie, lovely photograph. Wished I could contact my sister. I always have my dad come through, but never my sister. We'll just put it out there. I'm sure she will come through when she's ready through the right medium. Remember, the spirit world will choose their medium. Maybe if you're only listening to live shows, maybe they don't want to come through in a public platform. Perhaps you need a one-to-one reading. Have you tried a one-to-one reading, Julie? There's some fantastic mediums out there, many who work for Spiritual Psychics TV. Um, Perhaps a one-to-one would work. Remember, if someone was, and I'm not saying your sister was, um, but remember if someone is quite quiet in or a private person on the earth plane, when they get to the spirit world, maybe they don't want to air their laundry in a public forum. So that's something to bear in mind, what her personality was like. Um, it doesn't mean that they can't come through. Maybe the time's not right. You're saying my husband thinks this is all poppycock, but when I have a reading, he asks, what did they say? They all do the same, don't they? Lots of people, not just the guys. Um, they all say, "Oh, I don't believe in it," but then they want to know what happened. So you've had many readings. Well, it depends on the medium. It's the resonance between you and the medium. It's also the resonance between the spirit communicator and the medium as well. Because when I sit with a client, whether remotely or one to one, and I'm doing all my readings on Zoom at the moment, um, I invite the spirit world to come into, like, as if we were sitting all in one room into a party. Um, but the communicator has to feel comfortable with the medium. So I feel it's a bit like everyday life. If you don't resonate with someone or you don't like someone, perhaps you wouldn't want to come through them. Your sister doesn't believe all this. Well, maybe I'll take up the challenge and see if I can do a reading for you, Julie, and see if she comes in. I mean, obviously, I know you want your sister to come in. Have you tried as well? And I know that some people might consider this to be cheating, but I've sat with somebody before and I've had 3 or 4 communicators come through, and I know just intuitively that I haven't got to the person that they really want to speak to. There's just something in it that I know that they're not fully satisfied. And I'll say, there's someone else, isn't there? And they'll say, yes. And sometimes you can do this. You can work by giving just a name. And I know to a lot of people, especially those who don't believe, will think, oh, well, they're cheating. But sometimes, and I've sat with this during my mentorships with some amazing mentors, and we've experimented with this, and I've done it myself in my readings occasionally, and it's worked. What's happened is that you pick up a name, and then what you do is, obviously you're going in psychically, and then you're gradually, hopefully, drawing in that spirit person close to you. And that doesn't matter whether they believe in it or not about your sister, because a lot of them change their mind when they get there. And that's what you need to get out of your head, because sometimes, I'm not saying you do block it, but sometimes we can kind of block it ourselves when we've got that thought in our head. Because remember, your thoughts create your reality. So if that's in your head, like, oh, she's never communicated before, she's never come through before, oh, she never believed in it, listen to what you're giving out to your sister. If you come for reading me, I'm going to have you sending out all the love that you can. None of this barrier stuff. All right. I did a reading for someone, and I brought through her grandfather, and I said to her, I know that I haven't reached who you want. And she wanted to speak to her boyfriend who passed. And she gave me his first name. And I got right into it and came out with information that I could not have known. exactly how he passed, exactly where he was hit on his head. Um, and it was unbelievable reading that, and she was in tears, but tears of joy. And that's what I want to see, because I can't bear it when mediums say, "Oh, you're taught." And this is, another thing with being taught and certification, or you don't want someone to be crying this, that, and the other. Um, I know someone cries that I've touched their soul, and I've given that soul to soul reading. So, Julie, you're saying I'll try and clear my mind. So, is that you actually conceding, agreeing that sometimes you are kind of blocking it a little bit in a way by not intentionally, but a little bit of negative thinking that she won't come through, she's never come through before? You've really, really got to give out those loving vibes. You've really got to concentrate on welcoming her into that space and telling her how much she can trust and work with the medium in front of you. So I hope that helps, Julie. I mean, these are great questions. And if I can tell you about my readings, that it's worked, it's worked for me before. Um, and there are different ways of linking in with that spirit. And if it doesn't work, then I give them the money back, if I haven't been able to make a connection. Suze, are your development groups free of charge? Unfortunately, I have to make a small charge, like most groups, even churches make a small charge. And I'll tell you the reason for it. Not only is it an exchange of energy, I'm giving something in return. It is about a commitment to spirit. What I don't want is people dipping into circle, coming in and coming out. It's not only but it's not a commitment just to me. It's and to whoever is running the circle. The reason why we do it is a commitment to the spirit world as well, that you are going to be there. You've made that commitment. You're going to be there every week or every 2 weeks or whatever your circle works, or monthly. You're going to be there every time for every lesson, with your bum on the seat, saying to spirit, "Here I am on the same seat." In fact, when I was running circle from my house, here I am on the same chair every week, ready and waiting to be your channel. So you're giving that commitment to the spirit world, and also to the other people in your group, because if you don't come every week or every month or whatever, um, lots of things come out in circle about your life, and people need to feel comfortable with you and your energy. So it's a commitment to everyone. You're going to be there every week, and you build that relationship with your fellow students as well as the spirit world. So sadly, we can't all work for free. Like, I do lots of stuff for free. I do loads of charity work for free. I come on here every week for free. But, I've also got to put food on the table, as does many other mediums. So, and, if you're a plumber, I wish I could get a plumber for free, and I wish I could get a painter for free. And definitely a roofer for free, because I've had nothing but problems with my roof. Um, so it's about an exchange of energy. So thank you, Suze, for your question. There is a value. Also, you have to put a value on your work as well. So those of you who are developing and working and thinking about going out to work, yes, do it for free, and thank you for understanding. So do it for free, but then there comes a point where you need to put a value on your work as well. Like, a plumber's mate. At some point, he'll go out and start working on his own, and he'll have to charge. So That's the way the world goes round. Unless we're in a world where we don't have any monetary value or anything, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? So thank you, Suze. Stace. Hi, Stace. Most people are named after family members, past and present. Pamela, but the evidence will tell you which George you're with. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what we're coming to about the evidence, and um, it's not just the name. And also, Stacey, it's quite interesting because there is the thought as well that you can pick up a name psychically as well. So, are we getting the name from the spirit world, or are we picking that up from someone's auric field? So interesting point that you've raised there. Pamela, what if they have the same name? You might get more than one spirit and they all have the same name. Yeah, I've had that many times before. I think once, I don't remember, Richard, I was doing a demonstration of mediumship here, and I had a four-way split link. Two of the communicators had the same name. So I don't know if anyone remembers that. And that just goes to prove the intelligence of spirit, how they can bundle up and come through together. But your job as the medium is to, and what I did in that case is tell me about this George, tell me about that George, tell me about the other George, you know. And so you get information on each of them, and you go to all four people to give that message. So that's quite difficult, split links, because how you work with split links is you have to tune into the energy of each individual spirit person and psychometrize them. Psychometrize, i.e., that means to feel into their energy, like you would psychometrize on a ring. And so even if you've got male and a female, it's easy to tell the difference. But if you've got two men or three men or four men, you need to be able to separate them by the personality. So thank you for that valuable point, Pamela. So don't know if we've got any more questions, but I thought I'd start on my tutorial today. Hi, Christine. I will hold off on that. I'll just read Christine's comment. My dad came through and mentioned giving us a hot toddy when he had a cold. That was sufficient evidence for me. Absolutely. Absolutely, that's important. I think, was that me actually? I can't remember. I know I gave you a reading, Christine. And I remember something somewhere with a hot toddy for someone. So that you have to let me know if it was me. But yeah, and it would be interesting to know, what that hot toddy was, and then I would look into what kind of cup it was given in or glass. How was it given? What color was the cup? Uh, I would encourage mediums to look beyond, so go further. I see a hot toddy, right? Is it in a glass? Is it in a cup? What color's the cup? What does it look like? Who did it belong to? What's happened to the cup? Be the Miss Marples. Be Agatha Christie. Find out all the information. Don't just stop there. Julie, is it true when spirit are around the room will either go freezing or warm? That is up to the individual. Some people are sensitive to temperature and will feel that. It doesn't mean it happens to everyone. It doesn't happen to me. If I'm cold, I just say turn the heating up. I'm freezing. If I'm hot, it's like, oh, it's either my age or I need to lose a layer. I've never paired the two, but I know when I've sat in circle and I ask my students to invite the spirit world, their guides, to come close and feel the changes in their body and what's going on around them. Many of them will say that they feel extreme heat or they feel extreme cold. And that could be what we call their calling card, when they know that the spirit world is around them. So what you're probably listening to is people talking about their calling card, i.e., when they know the spirit world are close, they get cold or they get hot. Other people may feel like, like a scratch or touching their head or cobweb effect. So go with what works for you. Remember, you're an individual. Don't go, if it doesn't happen to you, doesn't mean they're not around you. It just means that's not your sign. So hope that helps, Julie. So, at the end of last week's, Christine, yes, it was you. Thank you so much for that. Oh, well, did I give you what kind of cup it was? Hello, Maria. How are you? Hello, everyone. Hello, lovely Bev. Thank you, Maria. Lovely to see you here. Maria, I know you've come on some of my workshops. Hello, lovely Kelly. She's saying hi to Bev and Richard. Hope you're both well. We are. Well, I've had a little bit of a cold, but wanted to be here today. You're welcome, Julie. I welcome all your questions. No question is insignificant. Every question helps other people as well. Remember, these are only my opinions, my thoughts that I share with you. So, don't know if there's any other questions. Maybe we can leave them till afterwards, unless anyone's got anything now. But yeah, the comments are automatic. Okay. Right, Stacey and Pamela get ringing in the ears. When you get the ringing in the ears, sometimes that is the spirit world tinkering with your clairvoyance, clairaudience. I get that sometimes. I get like a vibrational noise. Okay. Hello, Michelle. Love that picture. Isn't that beautiful? Julie, find this also fascinating. So do I. I love it. I studied quite a lot, so I don't poo-poo certification at all. The main thing is that you study, you listen to other mediums, and you learn from everybody. Yes, sometimes if the spirit had hearing issues, my ears ring. Okay, but also it could be them tinkering with it. You may find if that's happening to you, Stace, your clairaudience is being tuned up. So you might start hearing things a bit more. So watch out for that. Stace, mine tells me they're all around me. Okay. And so it means as well that they're going to be starting using that modality. And sometimes with clairaudience, which is, if anyone doesn't know, that's clear hearing, we don't know if we just know it or we're hearing it, because clairaudience, sometimes people just say, am I just knowing it, or am I just seeing the word, or am I actually hearing it? So if there's that vibrational sound going on around them, always go to the doctor, because it could be tinnitus or something like that. But I would say if you're a medium, it's just them tinkering. Alison, I had a loud beep in my ear recently, thought it was my hearing aid, but I hadn't got it in. Wow, okay. But again, remember, if there's something not quite right with your hearing, go and get it checked out. If the doctor doesn't find anything wrong with it, then, blame it on spirit. Okay, yeah, Stace, got a feeling they might be playing around with your clairaudience. So be mindful when you start getting your messages. If you were in my development group, I would say to you, just be mindful when you're working and how you're receiving information. Just take a moment. Am I hearing that? So now into my tutorial about what makes good evidence. So last time I was on, I think it was the week before last, or was it last week? I don't remember. We talked about what's standard evidence and what's standard evidence and what is makes good evidence. So your standard evidence is whether it's a male or a female, what they were like as a person, i.e. their personality, what they looked like, how tall they were, or how short they were. Sometimes people describe what they're wearing, which to me is not that evidential, because people got many clothes in their wardrobe. If you say I came through wearing red, well, tomorrow I might be wearing white, or I might be wearing green. unless you get someone who always wore the same suit. Stacey, you've been trying to work with you on your clairaudience, so there you go. They're listening to you. Ask and you shall receive. You know, we don't ask for what we want. If you put your intention out there, they will listen. It's a bit like the symbology. Ask. Okay, so I'm going to come to that. If we can hold that question with Michelle, Richard, because I just want to go through my tutorial and I'm not good at multitasking. If we can just hold it. So we're doing personality, how they passed. Again, not my favourite thing, because people always know how their loved ones passed, and do we need to, I question, do we need to make them relive it? Unless it's something really, you know, say pass with their heart. Well, most people pass with their heart, you know, their heart stopped. So unless you've got something really specific, I don't like to do the doom and gloom, because for me, mediumship is about upliftment and a healing experience. So we've got the physical appearance, and you know, and then we will go into a message or advice, or you know, and that kind of stuff. You know, maybe one or two memories might be brought in, and sometimes they can be a bit vague, where we talk about clairvagueness. All right, so you know, oh, he remembers how you used to go for a walk together. Well, that is a little bit vague, because most of us, sorry guys, but most of us walked with our loved ones somewhere, you know, or he remembers how, you know, used to go shopping together. Well, how many daughters and mums went shopping together, or fathers? So for me, unless you're going to say what you're shopping for, it ain't enough, in my opinion. You know, if you're starting off, then great. But when you become to a certain level, you're always aspiring to be better, to be a clearer channel, to get that little bit more information without being too pokey, without being too annoying. Because the worst thing you want, if you were a spirit in the spirit world, is some medium coming up to you saying, well, what do you buy in your shopping? What's in your bag? Come on, show me. What did you buy? A pound of apples? Or sorry, is it a kilo of apples now? You know, you need to go about this in the right manner, okay? Because your manner is really vital as to how you're going to get your communicator. Again, this is my opinion. No one else has said this before, I don't think, but in my teaching experience, is how we go about building that trusting relationship with someone's loved ones, that they want to tell you, that they want to tell you how they chose that kilo of apples, but they used to go through them and pass back the ones that had moldy bits in, or you know, didn't like the color of them, they only had to be red apples. That's what makes the apples, you know. That's what makes the great evidence, how fussy they were. So think about that. And the only way you're going to do that is to bring your communicator close to you and build a bond of friendship where they can trust you. So going back to what makes a good message, we need those extra juicy, nice bits, don't we, to make it more substantial, rather than you used to walk with your father or used to go shopping with your mother. We need more clarification on the shared memories, okay? And the feelings possibly that went along with it. So if there's any comments that are coming up, I will come back to you, Michelle, about this mist. But Richard, do we have any comments coming up about what extra bits can you include in your readings? Eileen, correct. Lovely Eileen, you're in my circle now. It's politeness and respect, whether in the spirit world or here on the earth plane. Absolutely, Eileen. 100% got it in one and perfectly said that, and I hope your dog was okay yesterday with the fireworks. We didn't have the circle because we had respect to the animal kingdom, didn't we, last night? Um, but absolutely, we can't just go in. I heard about, interview the spirit, and I kind of used to say that. I started off by saying interview the spirit, but there's a way of doing it. There's a way of, without being too bombastic. You've got to build that trust, because not everyone, hi Lynn, not everyone will want to give you all their, if you meet a stranger in the street, they're not going to tell you all their deepest, darkest secrets straight away. You've got to build that relationship up. Pamela's saying women can multitask. Not me. I'm a terrible multitasker. I think I should have been born a man. Sorry, Richard. Anyway, so shared memories. And anyone else got anything that they want to talk about? Because Richard, are you there? Do you have the sheet where we had the Claire with all the Claires down? I meant to ask you for it before we started. But the other things that we can talk about is their lifestyle. So we've got their personality in the standard section. So you've got two sections. You've got your standard information, and then you've got the extra, I call them the extra juicy nice parts, right? So what can we have in the extra juicy nice parts, everyone? And one of the things that I'm thinking about is, no worries if you haven't got it, is lifestyle. Because within that personality, you can say, for example, oh yeah, they were really lively, they were fun to be with. Yeah, fine, information taken. Let's go into that personality now. So you can bring in a memory, but you can also use your clairsentience and also your clairvoyance to see their lifestyle and their style. Okay, so what was their lifestyle like? What did they like to do? So it's coming up on the screen now. And like, what was their lifestyle like? So they might be lively. So did they like to go to the bingo, within their lifestyle? Did they hop, skip and jump? What was their style like? What sort of clothes did they wear? Is it up on the screen already? Because I can't see it. Okay, I can't see it. Okay, fine. So these kind of things might, you'll see up there, the main clairsentience, which is clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, clairgustance, and clairolfactory, and the clairknowing. So it's seeing, there we go, seeing, feeling, knowing, tasting, smelling. Okay. So they are the main five that we talk about. And so using those clairs, you can go into these extra juicy nice bits. So what's their style like? Were they flamboyant? Now I'm quite a flamboyant character in my dress. I mean, look at my hair color. So when you're looking at a communicator, even something like their hair color might tell you something about their personality, that perhaps that they are a really lively type of person, or in the clothes. So don't just say, I've got a man wearing a suit. Okay, is it a flashy kind of suit? Because there's a plain navy suit or a black suit, like say they were, as a funeral director, or they could be wearing a really flashy, loud suit that might be loud colors. Okay, so look into that, the lifestyle. And also by using your clairvoyance, you can also it's disappeared now, you can see into hobbies. Eileen's saying specific dates, and specific dates you can find out specific dates. I'm just going to talk about hobbies. You might just see them in your mind's eye, or they may be showing you what they did. So you can go into this a bit more. Maybe there's a memory about when they used to play bowls. I don't know if there's someone here that used to play bowls, because someone's given me bowls. But I don't know if that's for you, Pamela. But I've got someone, as your name came up, I got bowls, and somebody playing bowls. So go into it. Who did they play with? Investigate it further. Stace, for me, extra bits would be things like dates, hobbies, work life. Absolutely. And that's the things that we're told: birthmarks, moles. Yeah, that's on my list, Eileen. Gaps between the teeth. Let's go a bit further then. I've got a man, he's 5'10", and what's 5'10"? I've got no idea. 5'10", and he's got grey hair. That could be about 20 people that I know in the spirit world. But if you say he had a mole on his face, or he had dimples on his cheeks, or he had a gap in his teeth, you're narrowing it down. That's what you want to strive for. Okay? So distinguishing marks, you're looking for those as well. Also, talking about pets, Eileen, mannerisms and habits. Yeah, you might be doing it. We talked about this in circle. Maybe they're rubbing their hands. Maybe that's what they used to do. Maybe they're showing you what they did for their work. Pamela's saying about if they're in the forces or a job where they wear a uniform, you may feel the uniform, see the uniform, experiment with it. And pets. We were talking about Pamela, your aunt and uncle played bowls. I knew it was you. They just gave it to me, like literally as you came up here. Sorry, my nose is I got a bit of a cold. That's amazing. They just gave me bowls with you. They've come straight in. They're busy. They want to demonstrate this. They really like this. But I'm telling them we're not doing mediumship today. But they're lovely, lovely couple. And I know that they really, that was their life. They love to do that. It was like their pastime together. And so that's kind of great information, isn't it? Because how many people play bowls? So be bold with your mediumship. Be bold and be brave. If you get something, say it. Don't just sit on it and then afterwards you say, oh, I also got bowls, and they go to you, oh yeah, they did play bowls, but you never said it during the course of the reading. Doesn't count. So pets. I was talking about pets yesterday. We had firework night, so we ended up cancelling our circle because there was a lot of scared animals, so we didn't go ahead. But what pets do they have? Don't just say a dog or a cat. Can you see the dog? Can you feel the dog? What does the dog look like? People love their pets. I had a lady come for a reading with me the other day, and I gave her like 3 spirit contacts. Again, I knew that I wasn't satisfying her need. Yes, Alison Barton saying how many siblings they have. Absolutely. And what sex they were as well. Hi, lovely Lisa. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, go into what the pets were, because I had this lovely lady and she actually only wanted to talk to her pet. She was so, so close to her pet. I got the animal, but she needed a lot more. So I've actually referred her to a friend of mine who's a fantastic animal communicator, who I'm bringing in my show in 2 weeks' time. So I'm really excited to be sharing that with you. I'll tell you about that at the end. But she needed an animal communicator because we can touch on that subject, but it's quite a deep subject, how you work with animals. But you can touch on it. So try it and feel the personality of the animal and what colour they are. Pamela's saying, yes, they did enjoy when they retired. They helped run the bowling club. Lovely. Because I just felt it was part of their life. the bowls, the bowling. You see how evidential that is? So I'm not saying they used to go shopping together, this couple. I've got bowls, you know. How many people do that? So, you know, okay. What else can we get? Their feelings. What are their innermost feelings? You know, what do they feel about their life? That's important. Have you stopped to think about what you feel about your life? You've gone to the spirit world. You're going to be reflective, aren't you? How do they feel? And, you know, maybe how they felt, what they could have done. You know, obviously be mindful, personal responsibility here. Um, but, you know, what they feel that they would have liked to have aspired to, like what they would have, or for example, what they were really pleased about their achievements and what those achievements were. Hi, William Hughes, how are you? Um, so again, what those achievements are, and did they get a recognition and reward? We talked about certificates before. Were they proud of something? And that brings me to what they have seen um, since they've left the Earth plane. What have they seen of our world? So maybe they've seen your children or yourself gain certificates or graduated, that they've seen the graduation or they've seen the wedding. Now, this is something that's really important. And I like to try and touch on it in my readings, which is what you consider they have missed since they've passed to the spirit world, what we call they've died, but actually what they have seen and the evidence that they were there and they saw it. You know, like what happened? Like, did something funny happen at the wedding? Or did something funny happen at the funeral? Sometimes, sadly, funny things do happen at events. You know, what colour dress someone was wearing. Um, you know, um, something to say that they were at their granddaughter's wedding. How lovely would that be? You know, besides how tall someone is and how they passed, to know that they were there. They know about the child that was born. They know about your struggles. You know, they know what's been going on in your life and they can prove it evidentially. I often sometimes get the spirit world proving that they've heard conversations. They might come up with something that was discussed only the day before. I had someone who came for a reading and they were talking about what sort of party they were going to make for their daughter, and the grandma had said, mentioned the two types of parties and what she thought that they should have. Highly, you know, and they were crying with that because it showed that their mum was still with them. Eileen saying street or road names, absolutely. That's amazing. And there's some amazing mediums that get those. I mean, Gordon Higginson, he was amazing at that. He used to just come out and say, you know, and I'd encourage anyone learning to get out the old YouTube videos of Gordon Higginson. He'd say, oh, I've got Mr. Edwards and he lived at number blah, 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 Albert Street, you know. And that would be amazing evidence, you know. So if you can work like that, you know, I'm not saying you copy people's styles, but by watching, you're learning, and everyone has their own style. Christine, my grandfather came through with the street that they once lived. That was amazing evidence. Absolutely. Um, that's great. Um, Julie's saying, I just love it when mediums predict your future. Do you? Because you don't have to be a medium to do that. You don't have to connect with the spirit world to do that. So just be careful what they're getting psychically, i.e. through cards or whatever, what they're actually getting from the spirit world. Okay. Again, predictions, need to be mindful what you're giving. I've always got that story about someone that I couldn't do the prediction that they wanted, but when I went back to the spirit world, they helped, and it came from spirit, and that was a huge, huge lesson for me. And I will only give it if I get it, I believe, from the spirit world, not from the medium's mind, the medium's ego. Okay, so okay. Okay, right. So another important thing is who they've met up with in the spirit world. So when you get names and they say, "Oh, yes, I know this person," this is showing that other people that they have met up with in the spirit world. So you might get Uncle John or, Auntie Judy. Um, these are their way of saying that they've met up within the spirit world. Again, these are extra nice bits um, as to what they could have got. Another nice one is nicknames. We talked about names, but what about nicknames? If you can get a nickname, that's incredible. I've often got a name and I haven't understood it. Um, and especially when it's a foreign sounding name and they've got like a shortened nickname. Um, Again, use your clairaudience to work with that. And that takes me to special words and code names, code words. Listen out for them. If they touch your mind with something, maybe they might use symbology for that. They might use clairvoyance for that, or you may just have clair knowing. Go with it. If you hear something weird, just say it. You never know. It could be their little password. All right. So all these things are really important. And as Julie was saying, that's a specific message, doesn't have to be about the future, a specific message about what's going on around them now. Um, and I tell you what I also love, what I often get is sayings. Like especially in the old day, they used to have all these special sayings, and when you come up with something that it's not something you would normally say as a medium, so that's you say a phrase, and they say, "Oh my God, my mum would have just said it like that." That's great. Suze, you're saying nicknames. That's a good one. Absolutely. Challenge yourself all the time. If anyone ever comes through with my nickname, it will be a miracle. Well, exactly. What that isn't that wonderful? The miracle spirit about getting that nickname, our nicknames. So has anyone got any questions about this? Please put that in because we've got 15 minutes left. I know there was a question earlier from Michelle. Whilst you're thinking about your questions you want to ask about this. Sorry, Michelle, I hope you're still there. I've been seeing like a white mist surrounding my children lately. It disappears after a few seconds. Does this mean anything? It's not with your children. It feels more with you. It's like your awareness of the spirit world drawing close to them. So it could be one of two things. It could either be that or you starting to see energy, and you're seeing the energy around your children because we've all got an auric field around us. So remember the old fashioned, I don't know, especially if you're from the UK, the Ready Brek advert where they had the honey monster or whatever, not the honey monster, but the children with the energy around them, the heat coming through them. So I would imagine that white mist might be using the energy form around them. And sometimes if you're quite tired or if your eyes are unfocused, you can see that. I sometimes see the energy around my own body parts, especially when I'm tired. I can like literally see that. Alternatively, like I said, it could be you're just getting a glimpse of spirit drawing close. So sit with your guides and ask. For me, it's about your awareness starting to kick in and everyone will see things differently. And that's when you need to sit with your team and ask them, what does it mean? Because it's, you know, no one else can see it, just you. So you need to find out what it is for yourself. So I hope that helps, Michelle. Yeah, you're still here. Okay. So yeah, it could just be you seeing the energy around them, or it could be an awareness of spirit. I would sit and ask, all right? Kim is saying that's how I see people's auras. Absolutely, because I don't see colors. I see like I see like energy. It's almost like a fuzziness around them. You're saying white mist, so I would go into that and ask spirit. Pamela, is working with photographs, Bev, the same as communicating with spirit? Again, you're going in psychically to start, and so you're going in, you're connecting in with the energy of the person from the photograph, and like I said with the name, you are then drawing their energy and their spirit self towards you, and working with the spirit energy. Okay, doesn't always happen, but it's a very good exercise to do. Now, like I said, if you're not picking up the person that your client wants to connect with, you can either go in through a name or a photograph or psychometry, because, you know, it's quite accepted, this, you know, for many, many years, I was going to say for this day and age, but for many years, that we can connect in with spirit through psychometry, through the energy of what's in a ring or an item of their clothes. You can do the same with a photograph. You set your intent, you want to work with a photograph, but be aware that you will be working psychically to start, unless you know spirit has just come straight in. I hope that helps, Pamela. Yes, I do also with old family photos, people who have passed before I was born. Yeah, absolutely. So know when you're in your power and when it's coming through from the spirit world, or whether it's coming from your own mind. You're welcome, Pamela. Eileen, yes, loved the glow on the Ready Brett advert many moons ago. I know, I'm showing my age, aren't I? But you see, all these extra nice bits, you know, let's look at the, you know, the marital status, the relationships, you know, besides the height, you know, and the personality, let's mind map it. And I like to do actually a lesson on mind mapping, how which I've done with my one-to-one students, where we've taken something and we've grown the ideas as to what the meaning can be, symbolically or otherwise. You can also work with smells, you know. If you see something, what does it smell like? You know, if you see a perfume bottle or an aftershave bottle, what's the name and the brand of the perfume, and what does it smell like? You know, so you know, there's so much that you can work with. I could do a whole workshop on this. You know, and the main important thing to me, which so many mediums miss, and I'm gonna just mention this here, is the relationship. You know, I can't bear all this. He said this, she did that, she was like that. Who is she? Who is she? Because she is, my mum used to say, who is she? The cat's mother. If I used to talk to my mum about, and I used to call her she, I don't know if anyone else's mum used to do this, or grandma, but my mum's, there was that old fashioned saying, who is she? The cat's mother. And it's true, you know. Let's work out who she is. What energy does it come in on? Does it feel like a mother vibration? Or when people call you a vibration, or people call the spirit world an energy. I've got a female energy. My God, they're not energy. I hope no one calls me an energy when I come back. I'm a person. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. Find out who your communicator is to the person who is picking up your message. And then, if you want a good reading, include them during the message. So during the message, you're not saying, She used to go shopping. She used to like to buy apples. She used to throw the bad ones out back at the man. You're saying your mum used to do that. Your auntie used to do that. It has so much more impact, and it will bring your communicator even closer. Michelle saying, I think you're right. I'm completely new to all this. I've been smelling very distinctive smells too. I have started to ask my guides things, not 100% who they are yet. But I think I don't need to ask. Absolutely. I've mentioned, please go back on my other live shows. You don't need to know who your guides are. Many people don't know. It's more about the feeling when they draw close, like, you know, are they making you aware by hot, cold, by touching your face or your shoulder. Perhaps your guides are coming in close by this white mist that you're seeing. You know, you don't know. So it doesn't matter what their name is or what your guide looks like. If you know who they are, then fantastic. But just feel them around you and ask them. Working with smells is great. So, you know, every so often, all of you ask the spirit world to work with you in a different way. Like, can you use my sense of smell? And I'm going to do this for a couple of months. Don't ask for too much all in one go because it get confusing. Or I want to work with taste, or I want to work with hearing. You know, and if we ask, we'll get. Maria, I saw a white mist some time ago and it made me jump. No one else saw it who was with me, but I know it was my mum in spirit. Exactly. Intuitively, you will know. And that's why I said straight away with Michelle, it could be spirit. If it came in and it went, it could also be her awakening of seeing things like auric fields, things like that, or just a spirit world drawing close. So she needs to go inside yourself like you did, Maria, and work out what it was. So I have to finish in 5 minutes. Anyone got any other questions that they want to ask me, please say so now. Or if you want any clarification or anything from me, you can look at my page, which is at Bev Mann Medium page, and that is Bev Mann Mediumship from the Heart. Please like and follow my page. You can also find information about me on my website, which is bevman.co.uk, or email me through the website. There's a link on that website. And I am running courses all the time. I'm tutor at the Fox Pioneer Centre as well, alongside some other tutors at the Arthur Findlay College. So do have a look at their courses that they run. And I've got one coming up 2nd of December, which is the medium and the emotion, which I would highly recommend working closely with the communicator to bring forward these meaningful messages. So do have a look at my website and what I've got going on. Liz Ann, hi Liz. As I was walking into my bedroom last night, I smelt a flowery perfume, think it was my Aunt Maggie. How wonderful is that? So ask her, you know. That's lovely. Smells are so nice because they it's an acknowledgement that someone is around us. I remember once swimming in a swimming pool, no one was in it, place stunk of chlorine, and I smelt my dad's aftershave in the middle of the swimming pool. And it was the most, I was so choked up, I nearly drowned because I just learnt to swim. But, you know, it gave me a bit of a shock, really. But it's amazing when it does happen. So remember to ask for these signs. So do get yourself into, do get yourself into a development group or a circle. Again, if you want any information about what I'm running, you can contact me. So we're going to go now just to see what programs are coming up here on Spiritual Psychics TV. So tonight at 8 o'clock, we have the lovely Ashley Robinson being spiritual. So do tune in at 8 o'clock for his show. And tomorrow night, we've got a demonstration of mediumship with Ellie Charles, and that's at 8 o'clock. And that is it. And I will be back here, I believe in 2 weeks' time. I think I'm going to be going fortnightly here. So unless you'll want me back next week. But I'm going to be in 2 weeks' time. I am going to be here with my wonderful guest, Philippa Kingsley, who is a fantastic animal communicator. And oh, what's happened? Okay. She's a wonderful animal communicator with and healer, animal healer as well. She's a and human healer. She does a vortex healing. She's going to be coming here talking to us about animal communication and animal healing, and it's going to be a fabulous show. We're going to be working together, answering your questions. So if you've got any questions that you've got about animals and pets in the spirit world, she's absolutely fabulous. So do join me here Friday the 20th of November at 1 o'clock here on Spiritual Psychics TV. Eileen, how many guides do we have, Bev? I know we have one main guide from birth until we go home again. Is that right? Absolutely. You'll come into this world with one guide. They'll walk with you on this earth plane and take you back home. We have several guides, many guides. I know I've got about 7 or 8 guides. They help me with different aspects of my work. Again, by sitting in the silence, asking them to come forward and get to know them, get to understand them like you would your friends. So I hope that helps you, Eileen. Oh, right, okay, Richard's saying we've got time for one last question. And who's that from? Julie. Hi, Julie. Do you ask spirit out loud, or can they hear you in your mind? My husband would start to think I was nuts if I started talking out loud. I always ask in my mind. Everything in life is about intention, setting your intent. So I ask out in my mind. But if you want to ask out loud, you can. That's fine. Just do it in the quiet. When you go off to meditate, assuming you're doing it quiet, and I will say again, please don't meditate lying down, peoples. You're just going to fall asleep. Be in an upright chair. There's lots of sitting in the power. If you look back on the Spiritual Productions page, that's still up and available, isn't it, Richard? There's a sitting in the power with me. There's several there where I invite you to ask your guides to step close so you get to know the feeling of your guides. Sit in the power, ask them, talk to them, find out the best ways you can work with them. Ask them, can you work with me symbolically? Can you work with me with my clairaudience? How will I know this? How will I know that? Okay, build up that, that lovely relationship with them. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Liz Brewer. Thank you, Claire. See you next time. I'm back in 2 weeks, November the 20th. Remember, thank you, Bev and Richard. Many blessings to you both. Please, like I said, please do look at my page, Bev Mann Mediumship from the Heart. I'm often doing lives, so in between here and 2 weeks' time, where you can ask questions as well. I'm always available to help people. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for an enjoyable. Richard, if you can just put my details up there, if you can. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I couldn't see them. Thank you for an enjoyable show. Bye for now. Bye, Julie. Thank you so much. I hope all your questions got answered. And thank you all so much for participating in the show. And do look after yourselves. Keep safe and make friends with yourself and your guides, and they will help you along your pathway. So thank you so much for allowing me into your rooms today for the last hour and a half. Goodbye and God bless. See you soon. Bye.